Alright, everyone. This is an interesting topic, because I know many of you guys may have no love for the franchise I'm discussing, but this drama, and the franchise that is, you know, kind of the target of this drama, is kind of integral to the current state of the online culture war, with right-wing, like, bullshit spreading and grifting, and that's Assassin's Creed. The new Assassin's Creed game, AC Shadows, has been announced for the very first time for real. Let's be honest, the platformer game doesn't count. We're getting an Eastern setting and an Assassin's Creed game. People have been asked, like, the whole idea of the Assassin is that you are a stealth combat, like, the Assassins are basically like ninjas, but not really. So it's always made sense that we would have, like, ninja assassins. It's even been canon in Assassin's Creed for years that was the case. So we've always wanted, like, going back to when I was literally in middle school, I remember reading the comments on every new Assassin's Creed trailer announcement. Man, this looks awesome, but I do still wish we got Assassin's Creed Japan, you know? And there have been fake concept art designs that have been leaked for a decade of the supposed next Assassin's Creed game being the one we would finally get set in Japan. Ninja seems like a very broad term. It is, it really is. But in Assassin's Creed Shadows, we're finally getting what we wanted. And honestly, that and then some. We are going to have two characters. One of them is a samurai, whose combat and gameplay style is focused on boots in the ground, like straight up just sword-swinging combat. And a character who is a shinobi, who is more of the traditional assassin, the character who has the hidden blade, who climbs, who stealths, and you know, fucking air assassinates people, and jumps out of the bushes to assassinate people. It's a really good way to split up the gameplay. And I got the trailer right here. I'm going to go ahead and show it to you. And if you're not already caught up on this drama, very quickly you should figure out why people are upset. Why right-wing gamers are so panties in a jumble over this. For me, as an Assassin's Creed fan, this just makes me so happy. It's what we've always wanted. It's what we've been begging for like a decade.
Who are you? Who do you serve?
All I have ever known in my life. Our land. Our customs. My family. Burns in the name of unification.
A frog in a well who knows nothing of the sea.
There he is.
The ocean's filled with new ships, but they all come from the same river. Greed.
So, this is the character that has upset the right-wing gamers, but definitely not because they're racist, of course. They're not racist. Do not call them racist. They just don't like that he's black, okay? But they're not racist, though. But also, it is not. They're not okay with him being black, but they're not racist, though. You're not allowed to call them that. That's a slur. Racist is a slur. That's really mean. You don't call them that. They don't see race, but they don't like that he's black. Yeah, no. Basically, the argument from them is that it is an Assassin's Creed game, and it takes place in Japan, so why isn't the protagonist Japanese? Now, what I find very impressive about this is that through watching this trailer, the main character here on the left, our shinobi character, who is Japanese, is such a good assassin that these guys completely forgot she exists. They can't see her. They're upset that a single character in the game is black, and if you just, like, whittle them down enough, they'll eventually say, why can't we have a Japanese male character? Because a lot of these, like, racist gamer types, they kind of consider specifically Japanese people honorary white. You've noticed that, right? Especially, like, the weeb Nazi crowd. Like, the crowd of, like, Nazis who will call you a Jew and then their profile picture is an anime girl. Like, those people unironically consider Japanese people, like, honorary whites. And so they're mad that a black man is tarnishing what to them is effectively pro-white supremacy, or at least pro-racial supremacy, if it were to be a completely racially and ethnically homogenous setting. Now, here's the thing, though. They're also really fucking dumb, like, on every level of this as well, because, like, this character is not of the same people as the rest of Japan. She's from, like, a remote village that is literally considered a different people that gets slaughtered, and she goes out on a revenge rampage against, like, an emperor who's probably a Templar. I don't know all the story yet because the game hasn't come out, right? I don't know. It just seems really weird to just try to minimize that there is a Japanese main character when they're still trying so hard to pretend that, like, it's not because they're racist. They just think it's weird that a game takes place in Japan in the Assassin's Creed series that, quote, doesn't have a Japanese male protagonist. It's such a weird standard as well, because it's never been the case. You guys know that Assassin's Creed games have taken place in settings where the people that are in them aren't from there before, right? I mean, for a good example of this, I'll show you a good example, because they love talking about, what if there was an Assassin's Creed game, right, that took place in Africa, right, and you played as a white guy. That would be unacceptable to you people. And so they'll make that argument. The thing is, I'll see if I can find it right now, but it's hard to find, like, gameplay of a particular mission from a game, especially because I think this is a side mission. No, yeah, I found gameplay, okay. This may look like the rest of the game, because the rest of the game takes place primarily in the Caribbean, but AC4 has you play as a white Welshman, and you go to Africa, like the west coast of Africa, for, like, a couple missions. And it's not where the whole game is set. The rest of it's set in the Caribbean. But, like, there was never an established rule for Assassin's Creed that you had to set the game wherever the protagonist was from, or wherever the game was set had to have a protagonist from there. Hell, AC Revelations. Ezio's not from, where is it? Fucking Constantinople? I feel like an AC game in Indonesia would be cool. Yeah, I mean, you could pull it off, like an AC4 Black Flag style thing. There's also an oppressed indigenous group called the Ainu in Japan. Yeah, like, the idea that right-wingers think that, like, Japan is some, like, ethnically homogenous country that they can use as, like, a Eastern analog for white people, due to, like, some weird, like, model minority mythologizing bullshit they do. To try and justify, like, there's always got to be a group of non-white people that racists can point to and say, hey, I'm cool with them, to try and, like, deny being racist. Racism has lost the culture war so bad. To get people to be racist, you first have to convince them that being racist is anti-racist. Haven't you noticed how much of, like, the rhetoric around this is actually aimed at saying that actually Ubisoft is racist for not making the main character Japanese? Like, this is Africa, by the way, that I'm showing you. That's the footage. It's really grainy because older game, but you know what I mean. So yeah, set off conservatives like crazy, and the right has decided that Assassin's Creed Shadows is their next big thing to be mad about constantly. They're going to be grifting off of this for a while now. It's their next big Rings of Power, Star Wars, Ghostbusters, insert thing they decide they're going to try to wage culture war against. And one of those people who's decided to jump on board who literally doesn't play video games as far as I know, and has like no grounds to talk about this, is Michael Knowles. Only apparently, because the new Assassin's Creed games are like pretty RPG oriented, something they've done for a while now is made your character typically bisexual, such that any character who's like potentially romanceable that you want, you can romance them, guy or girl, so like the player can get whatever they want to see, right? And that's a thing that a lot of RPGs tend to do. They allow you to be bisexual nowadays. Kind of New Vegas started that trend. Fallout New Vegas lets you be bisexual or lesbian, or gay, and there are benefits to it, like for speech checks, and you get like if you're bisexual, you get a damage boost of 10% to both genders in the game, but if you get like just gay, then you do more damage to men, and if you become like a lesbian, you do more damage to women. And you're not considered gay if you get like the lesbian perk. You're not considered a lesbian if you're a guy and you get the lesbian perk. That's only if you're a woman. So like you get the lady killer perk in that case, but if you're a woman, you get Black Widow, and that makes you a lesbian. I think that's how it works. Or no, maybe that's I don't remember. But there's a perk that's literally specifically like the icon is two women practically kissing. And like the other one is like a dude giving another dude a massage for being gay. It's funny as fuck. But yeah, because apparently Assassin's Creed Shadows is going to have this feature, the right has decided to get upset and say that the main character of Assassin's Creed Shadows is not only going to be black, but gay. And much like Bad Bunny, it seems the concept of a gay black man makes conservatives literally want to throw up in their mouth. One such conservative is Michael Knowles, the little snaggletooth demon. Let's take a look. Let's see what he's got to say.
I have to make a big retraction. It takes a very big man, a very big, handsome, sexy man to admit when he was wrong.
Okay, I was going to save it for later, but I feel after that, he deserves me to show you this. Let me just show you a clip of a student film that Michael Knowles did when he was in college. Because, like, you need to know that he's done this before you see all the homophobic shit he's about to say. Enjoy.
You okay, buddy? Gonna vom?
No.
You afraid to go inside?
It's not that.
I can leave.
That was... Wow. Thanks. Have you not done it with men?
Mind if we don't get into that?
Oh, yeah, sure. That's not a lot, is it?
Can I get...
Also, for the record, the retainers of samurai, or like of lords and samurai, were bisexual, because sometimes the thing that the samurai or lord would want of their retainer was like pleasure, you know. And so there's a good chance that Yasuke, I believe is how it's pronounced, by the way. I don't know exactly, but I think that's correct. I'm pretty sure Yasuke probably, maybe, potentially threw it back for Nobunaga. You know? It's possible. It could have happened. He might have thrown it back for his lord.
And I was wrong. Now, I was wrong. I didn't err in that I made the right decision given the information I had at the time. But later information proved that what I advocated was not correct. And so
God, it's always the people who can't even be bottom tier industry people that resort to grifting and racism to make money. Yeah, no, like every big conservative pundit you see is a failed dropout of like mainstream media, like non-political stuff that resorted to politics in order to make money. It's not so much the case in the left, though in some cases it can be true, but especially so on the right. If you can just repeat what people agree with politically, they will give you money and they will watch you. You don't have to be charismatic. You don't even have to be particularly well-informed or educational, and they will still do that. You can even be boring, slow, non-well-spoken, drawn out, and fucking might like mute half the time, you know? And people will support it. But you kind of have to be able to provide entertainment outside of the political sphere to make your content worthwhile, you know? And that just doesn't really work well for people like Described Hassan. So true. So true. But no, it very much applies to Ben Shapiro and all the Daily Wire goons like this guy, right? Because he used to be in acting. He failed out of it. And where else could he go but Daily Wire and try to cope with becoming a talking head? People watch him if he's a talking head, and he can pretend like they're watching him for him and not like they're just watching to hear their politics. That's why whenever you guys disagree with me, I argue with you guys like fucking crazy. And I make sure, even if you guys don't agree with me, you still stick around because you like me. And if you don't like me, you gotta get out. But conservative grifters don't care. They're just trying to make money, so ends up being very soulless and corporate, right? Like, look how soulless and corporate this feels, too. Have you really yet to find a conservative pundit, that even an actual grassroots funded one, that doesn't present themselves as super, like, soulless and corporate? I literally have a Super Earth flag up in the background, and I feel less soulless and corporate than this shit, you know? Like, I'm literally repping Super Earth, the most soulless corporate organization in all of fiction. And like, I'm not getting across the same vibe, I feel, you know? Crowder is also a failed voice actor. I mean, I wouldn't say he was failed. He was an Arthur, right? I guess he got fired, so maybe he was failed. We do argue, yeah, but you're always civil about your responses, etc. Pretty much, Zan, and we love that about you. Yeah, I feel like you guys appreciate me for me, and while I imagine tons of you that watch only want to hear about the politics, a good amount of you like me for me, and I like that. Not really the case with content creators like this. Like, this whole political grift thing on the right is a very easy path to just grinding out money, just as a random fail son. Oh, we got a random Nazi troll in YouTube chat who doesn't know that my actual chat is my website. He says, Ola Jala Jim says, you fell off, bro. You have like 10 people commenting, lol. You got me, man. Only 10 people watching. There's only 10 people talking. Yeah, you totally got me, man. Epically
I'd like
owned.
to
I've
just
fallen
clear
off.
the air. A few days ago on the show, I endorsed Yasuke. Yasuke is the black.
Yasuke? Okay, I know it's not Yasuke. Come on. Come on. Come on. I don't know exactly how it's pronounced, but I know Yasuke is closer than Yasuke. Come on. Bro.
Black guy. My producers insist that this man's name is pronounced differently. I heard Yasuke, and then now they're writing in my teleprompter it's pronounced Yasuke. I don't care, nerd, Professor Jacob. I'm calling him Yasuke because that's what it's spelled like. So anyway, I endorsed Yasuke. And he's
got a fucking teleprompter. He also wears an earpiece too, because remember, these guys are corporate as fuck. They have a whole company and office building they're running out of. Man, one day, guys, I'm gonna make enough money from YouTube to like buy or rent one of those like storefront / apartment complex buildings where it's like the front entrance is like a glass like storefront, and then above it is like apartments. I'm gonna like rent the whole building, move in a bunch of my friends, and oh, it's going to go hard. That'll be the studio. My buddy Balth, who might be in chat right now, is going to run a game shop out of the storefront. That's the dream. That's the dream. My buddy Balth has always wanted to run a game shop. And so if I can afford to attain the building, then I will pull that off. Yeah.
Said Yasuke, even though he's a black guy in the Japanese samurai story, he's a real character.
In the Japanese samurai story? Okay, well, yeah, he's a real person. He existed. He's an actual historical figure that existed. He was a retainer. Now, there's people that are arguing and saying he wasn't a samurai. He wasn't a samurai. Samurai was a very broad term, And yeah, he was technically a samurai. I believe he was also, like, canonically, like real life canonically, fought in battles. Like, funnily enough, you could nitpick and say he probably didn't use a sword, because I don't recall anything about him using a katana to fight. But what he did use, notoriously, was a bow. He was known as, like, the best bowman anyone had ever seen. Whenever they, like, recounted how good with a bow he was. He was given samurai stipend as well. Yeah. I mean, he had all the privileges of a samurai. He had the title. Like, he was a samurai. Like, the people telling you he wasn't are just wrong. There's a reason why, if you look up Yasuke right now, even if you look at videos from 6 months ago to later, everything calls him Yasuke, the first black samurai. Like, everything refers to him that way. Nothing doesn't refer to him as a samurai. He just is overwhelmingly accepted to have been one. And the idea that the consensus isn't strong enough for a fucking Assassin's Creed game is miraculous to me. The first Assassin's Creed game, the MacGuffin of the game is the Apple of Eden. You cannot tell me that a fundamental aspect of Assassin's Creed is the historical accuracy, okay? The point of Assassin's Creed, what makes it so special, is the setting being very faithful. That's good. The story, though, the stories have rarely been, like at best, they work within the margins of what actually happened in history. At best.
Character. He went over to Japan with an Italian, Jesuit missionaries, and they go over there and he impressed some of the imperial people and ends up becoming a retainer in Japan, and so he's a type of samurai. I think that's historically interesting, and so I think...
Wow, holy shit, he managed to tell Yasuke's story and not mention slavery a single time. That's fucking crazy, dude.
I endorsed him being in the video game. And then they had to make him gay. And it's not even... Look, had Yasuke been gay, I'd say, okay, include it. Oh, I get it's history, and history's kind of...
So he was okay with it until Yasuke ended up being gay. This means... You know what this means, right? Bro is so far in the closet, he's engaging in self-hatred right now. Fuck, man. He's found his Christmas presents.
Interesting and weird sometimes. But I don't think Yasuke was gay. Okay? And I know there are going to be all sorts of Jesuit jokes and all sorts of Italian...
Well, no, I don't know about that, but the reason why people will say he may have been bisexual or at least engaged in those acts is because his job was, if his lord asked, to spread those cheeks and to take it or give it if that's what his lord wanted. That was in his job description. It happened historically. Retainers did that for their lords or for samurai too. That's how it worked.
Italian jokes that pop up but back in those days, the Jesuits were really, really solid. Things went a little bit wrong in the intervening. But
what the fuck is he talking about?
There's no evidence that Yasuke was gay. And yet, according to new reporting on this from all sorts of outlets that I've never heard of before because I don't play video games, according to this reporting, the company itself, Ubisoft, wrote in a blog post, Naoi, I guess that's another character, and Yasuke's disparate person.
I guess that's another character. That's the other protagonist who is the other 50-50, like, main character of the game, because there are two main characters you switch between, if that concept is, like, unimaginable to you, who is Japanese in the setting, like, I like that he admits that he's not a gamer, so he, like, obviously doesn't know. But it really is disrespectful how many of these, like, supposed super gamer, geeks and gamer nerds are claiming that, like, there is no Japanese main character in Assassin's Creed Shadows, when it's like, man, the whole trailer is about the Japanese main character. Like, Yasuke is treated as, like, a cameo to the trailer, if anything, you know? Like, fucking hell.
Personalities also lead them to have different relationships and rapports with other characters, and they don't always feel the same way about people. Nor do people always feel the same way about them. Romantically, they will also attract and be attracted to different types of people. Through the pair, players will get to experience a multitude of relationships. And this
He doesn't understand the concept of an RPG allowing you the option of being like bisexual, basically. Like he doesn't understand that like a woman might play as a male main character and decide to like they are into a male character that like maybe you couldn't romance him unless you're playing as a female, but she's playing as a guy. So it's like, oh, that sucks. But in most RPGs nowadays, it doesn't matter what gender you play as. You can romance the character you want to, because most characters are bi by default in a lot of RPG games. Not always, though. Like Cyberpunk, for example, kind of goes in the other direction there, where there are like a lot of characters are bi, from what I know, but some of them are gay. And they'll have no interest in you if you're not who they're like the gender they're into. So there are like gay characters and like set straight characters in Cyberpunk. I think that's pretty cool. But like the idea that allowing your character to have bisexuality as an option for players is like woke or something. I mean, we're literally at the point where we're saying player choice is woke. I mean, like at this point, you're just trying to make video games worse because you think like games being good and well made is woke. I'm sorry, but stop trying to ruin video games, or we're gonna have a real problem. Like if these people actually start to try to ruin video games the way they say that like the woke people do, there's gonna be a real problem. People are actually gonna get pissed off.
There is a lot of other evidence in this article that I won't finish reading that suggests that they're going to make Yasuke gay. Because they got to make everything gay. Because it's 2024 and everything has to be.
He actually doesn't understand the concept of like games giving the players the choice to do something. Like he doesn't understand that it's not a movie with a set track, that like this is the team saying, here is an option the player can choose to go for their story. Like he doesn't understand, because he doesn't play video games, that games aren't typically like a track. Like a set track these days. Usually it's a lot more malleable to your choices, like the outcomes and the ending.
Not even gay. Gay is sort of conservative and traditional now by the standards of today. Now it's all got to be like 3 genders and pansexual, and you got to be into like polycules with billy goats. So I formally withdraw my endorsement of Yasuke. Not of the person Yasuke, he seems kind of interesting, but of the video game. They took a very interesting historical story and they made it much lamer.
So is the talking point now going to switch from they were never mad that Yasuke, or he's got me saying Yasuke, they were never mad that Yasuke was black, they were mad that they made him gay. Is that what like the historical rewriting is going to end up being in like a month? They're going to claim, we were never mad that he was black. We were mad that they made this real historical character gay with absolutely no context for it for the agenda. We have no problem with Yasuke. It's just that they shoehorned gayness into him. And of course, he won't even like actually be gay. They're just misinterpreting like player choice options. Like, Christ. Please show us that picture of him in the covers with the guy that one time when you're done with this segment, please. One more time when you're done. Yeah, I will.
By imposing an anachronistic and historically unsupported lavender coating to the whole thing. It's out. Now I'm never going to play Assassin's Creed. Not that I was going to before. Right now, go to genucel.com/.
Oh yeah, sorry. The whole rest of the video is going to be an ad. I don't know if you guys have noticed, but like Daily Wire videos are roughly 3 minutes of content and then 5 minutes of ad half the time. Like sponsorships, like it'll be back-to-back sponsorships. Like he's about to do a sponsorship for like the cigars, his own merch, GenuCell, like NordVPN. NordVPN sponsors every like Nazi YouTuber with any clout online, by the way. So like, don't use NordVPN. Not to mention, NordVPN will give all of your info to the government if they ask. Your info is not secure with NordVPN at all. It is only useful for like pirating shit or watching stuff from other countries on like streaming services. It is not secure. Use Molvad. It costs money, but it's cheap. Use Molvad. And never use a product that a YouTuber that's not me is sponsored by. As you guys can tell from the fact I've only taken one sponsor ever, and it was for a water bottle that I still use to this day. And it's been like, what, 5-6 years now? Yeah, I just take sponsors I think are good. But yeah, You guys supporting me, though, dropping likes, subscribing, ringing the bell icon so that YouTube tells you when I go live or upload, and commenting down below is how I keep the lights on this channel. Though, we'll never, I don't know if we'll ever quite reach the level of success as Daily Wire, but hey, if you guys want to try and rival them, the best way you can do so is to support my content. So comment down below, like, follow my social media, subscribe, donate, subscribe, or gift a sub on my website if you want to support me financially directly and you've got the money for it, or support me through YouTube, Twitch, Streamlabs, Stream Elements, or Patreon if you want, or buying merch through Streamlabs as well if you want to support me through other means. And of course, don't forget to join my fan Discord. It's totally free. It's the main hub of my fan base. I host watch parties, game nights, and call-in streams there, and I announce all of my uploads and streams there as well, so make sure notifications are on. I hope to see you there. I hope you enjoyed this stream, and yeah, I hope you have a good one.